We call it complementary demand. Composite, it can be composite, it can be composite. Derived, it can be derived. Effective demand is that point where you are paying for the particular commodity you want to buy. That demand has become effective. When you are willing and able to buy, by the time you pay for the commodity you want to buy, it has become effective demand. Derived demand, you are getting that demand, you are buying it for the purpose of what it's going to produce. That is what is called derived demand. Composite, you can use that particular stuff, that particular product, to a lot of things are coming out from it. Cocoa, for example, we can have many things that can, it's composed of many things that can be gotten from it. That is composite demand. Complementary, jointly demanded commodity. Competitive, fish and meat. For example, when the price of fish goes up, you decide to go and buy meat that has a lesser price. So an increase in the price of meat, which leads to an increase in the demand for fish, is what? Is competitive demand. The next question. Now, if we look at this very well, this is production possibility curve. Consumer goods, capital goods. Production possibility curves. A figure 3.2 points TNG illustrates. This is the point on the graph, TNG. At that point, resources are efficiently used. Resources are what? Are efficiently used. Below the curve, the resources are not efficiently used. Below the curve, they are underutilized. Below the curve. But after the curve, it is unattainable. You understand? But on the curve, it is efficiently used. Now, let's go back to the question. Point TNG illustrates that only one product can be produced? No. Production is not feasible? No. Resources are efficiently used. Resources are efficiently used on this curve, TNG. Resources are efficiently used. There is waste of resources. There is wider spread of unemployment. So the perfect answer to this question is resources are efficiently used. The next question. 54. When you see this graph, this is called fixed cost. At this particular cost, irrespective of the output, it is still the same cost. We call it fixed cost. This is not average cost. This is not marginal cost. This is not total cost. This is not variable cost. This is fixed cost. So anywhere you see this kind of curve, you should know that it is fixed cost. The next question. If a firm produces 30 units of a commodity at 55 naira each, calculate the total revenue. I said initially when I started teaching you that to get total revenue is as simple as ABC. Just multiply price and quantity. So your price times quantity will give you total revenue. If a firm produces 30 units of commodity at 55 naira, calculate total revenue. What is the price? 55 naira. What is the quantity? 30 units. So 30 times 55 will give us total revenue. 30 times 55, 30 times 55. That's 1,650. So 1,650 naira is the total revenue. So the perfect answer to this question is D. The next question. An economic system where means of production and distribution are owned by the government. Where means of production and distribution are owned by the government is a socialist economy. You understand? It's a socialist economy. That is option D, socialism. The next question. The combination of different factors of production to achieve better output at a reasonable cost. The combination of different factors of production to achieve better output at a reasonable cost is what? Efficiency of resource use. Allocation of resources, no. Division of labor, efficiency of labor, no. Techniques of production, it is efficiency of resource use. When you combine different factors, efficiently, when you combine it well, and it's giving you maximum productivity. It's efficiency of resource use. So the combination of different factors of production to achieve better output at a reasonable cost is efficiency of resource use. The next question. Which of the following factors determine how to produce goods and services in an economy? Which of the following factors determine how to produce goods and services in an economy? Which of the following factors determine how to produce goods and services in an economy? Techniques of production is the one that we know Are we going to make use of labor intensive or capital intensive? It is the techniques of production. It can't be market demand, it can't be government agency, not exchange rates, not consumer preferences. The perfect answer is techniques of production. Is the word that shows us how to produce goods and services in an economy. The next question. All right, so question 59. An economic system that encourages private ownership of resources is capitalism, private ownership of resources, where the means of production and distribution is controlled by a private individual. We call it capitalism. You understand? An economic system that encourages private ownership of resources is capitalism, where the means of production and whatever is controlled by the government is socialism. You understand? So the perfect answer to this question is A. The next question. The following are features of private enterprises. Private enterprises. The following are features of private enterprises, except that capital is being provided by the owners. Under the private ownership, capital is provided by the owner. Yeah, you provide it, you look for it. Efficient management is encouraged. Yeah, efficient management, because you would not want to fall into debt or run into debt. You want to do it well so that you can maximize profits. You put all your energies and the likes. So it's one of the features. Efficient management is encouraged. Profit maximization is paramount. You want to make profit. That's the reason why a lot of people are leaving government job, for a business, because you just want to make profits so that things can work out better for you. Profit maximization is paramount. So that is one of the features of a capitalist economy. They are controlled by what? By the owners. They are controlled by the owners. Yeah, not by the government. They are controlled by the owners. They are established by the Act of Parliament. That is not the answer. The A, B, C, D are the features of private enterprise, except E. They are established by the Act of Parliament. The next question. 61. If the population of a country is 12,000 and 45% are males, what is the total number of females? What is the total number of females? What is the total number of females? Now, if the population of the country is 12,000, and 45% are males, 45%, 25% are male. What is 45% of 12,000? 45% of 12,000. That is 5,400. 5,400. So that means 5,400 males are in that population. So what is the total number of females? What we need to do is just to remove 5,400 from 12,000. So it will be 12,000 minus 5,400, which is 6,600. That will be 12,000 minus 5,400, which is equal to 6,600. So it is 6,600. So the perfect answer to that is option C. If the population of the country is 12,000, how did I get it? I looked for 45% of the 12,000. It gave me 5,400. Automatically, we have the male and female in that community. So if you remove 5,004 from the 12,000, what will be remaining is what? 6,006. So the total number of females in that particular country is 6,600. The next question. The total number of people who are willing and able to work, they are willing, and they are also able to work in a particular country. We call them labor force. Labor force. They are willing and able to work in a particular country. We call them labor force. Dependent population, A. Division of labor, B. Efficiency of labor, C. Labor force, D. Labor market, E. The perfect answer to this question is D. Labor force. The next question. Which of the following is a limitation to geographical mobility of labor? Which of the following is a limitation to geographical mobility of labor? You want to move to another place because of what? Probably because of employment, so that you can look for a greener pasture. But what can be a limitation? A, ease of transportation. Well, is actually one of the limitations, but not. There may be stronger ones. Family ties consideration, favorable government policy, high level of education, lack of job opportunities. Which of the following is a limitation to geographical mobility of labor? Family ties consideration. It is stronger. It is stronger. You may have job in another environment or another state, but most times, some people who have a very strong tie with their family may not want to live like that, so that there won't be any issue for personal reasons or whatever. You understand? If you look at these options very well, this is very strong. Family ties consideration. You can draw one back, because you don't want to dissociate yourself from your family. So the best option in this place is B, family ties consideration. The next question. The production of petroleum in Nigeria has provided the following benefits. Production of petroleum, it has generated revenue for us. We have made money, even as a country. You understand? So, but they are now asking, the production of petroleum in Nigeria has provided the following benefits, except, how many benefits has it provided, except what? Generation of employment. Some people are gainfully employed. You understand? As a result of what? Production of petroleum in Nigeria. Some people are gainfully employed. Every relies on foreign products. That is a disadvantage. So it shouldn't be part of it. Improved infrastructural development. Part of the money generated from the petroleum into the country has been used to build infrastructure. Then improved standard of living. Well, some people are actually okay. You understand? Because of what? Because of the income they actually derive from there. It's to improve their standard of living. Some of foreign exchange earning, we have made money. Sell stuff outside the country and they pay in foreign currency. So every line of foreign product is a major disadvantage. So it's not one of the benefits out of these listed. So the production of petroleum in Nigeria has provided the following benefit, except B is the answer. Every reliance on foreign products. Because every reliance on foreign products is not a benefit, it's a major disadvantage. The next question, 65. Continuous learning and skills acquisition in human capital development can lead to. Continuous learning and skills acquisition in human capital development can lead to continuous learning and skills acquisition. What can mean in human capital development can lead to what? Foreign dependence? No. High unemployment rates? No. When you are skillful, when you advance in knowledge, you can't be stranded. You cannot be unemployed. You understand? In fact, many people can give you employment together, same time. They are not the one that will be deciding which one should I go for. Low competitiveness, improved productivity, low profit maximization, improved productivity. That is the answer. Continuous learning and skills acquisition in human capital development can lead to improved productivity. So that is the perfect answer. The next question, 66. The sector that Nigerian economy depended on before the advent of petroleum is what? Is agriculture. Basically, agriculture. You understand? Basically, agriculture before the advent of petroleum. The next question. Government grants agricultural subsidies to do what? Government grant agricultural subsidies. Subsidies in form of what? It can be improved seedlings. It can be fertilizers. It can be tractors. It can be farm machines, and the likes. So all these are actually given to boost production, to boost farm production, to boost agricultural production. So boost agricultural output, discourage agricultural production, encourage foreign dependence, increase commodity prices, promote agricultural import. It is to boost agricultural output. The next question, 68. Relocation of settlement is an adverse effect of relocation of settlement. It's an adverse effect of A, agriculture, commerce, construction, manufacturing, mining. Relocation of settlement is an adverse effect of mining. So mining is the perfect answer to this 68. The next question. Subsistence method of farming is widely practiced in Nigeria because of subsistence method. It is a small scale production. You know, it is a small scale production. We have subsistence, we have commercial. You understand? Commercial is a large scale. You understand? Subsistence is a small scale production. So subsistence method of farming is widely practiced because of what? Either the capital, land degradation, low unemployment, political stability, technological advancement. It is as a result of inadequate capital. So people cannot afford much, and that's why they say, okay, let me just start small. It is simply because of what? Inadequate capital. The next question, 70. Government protects infant industries in the country through what? Infant industry. Are you getting it? The new industries that are just coming up. So how does government protect them? How do they protect them? Collection of multiple taxes. This cannot protect them because if they are collecting multiple taxes, they will not be encouraged to produce more, they'll be discouraged in doing business. You understand? So that's not it. Increase in excise duties. Increase in excise duties? No, that's another benefit. No, that's not it. It cannot protect infant industry. That cannot protect. Increase in import duties. Yeah, increase in import duties can protect because it will discourage importation. And if importation is discouraged, the local production will be enhanced. You understand? Reliance on foreign goods, no. Removal of subsidies. So the perfect answer to this, increase in import duties. So they will impose import duties so that importation can be discouraged and local production can be empowered. The next question. Mechanized system of agriculture is uncommon in Nigeria because why is mechanized system of agriculture uncommon in Nigeria? It requires huge amount of capital, yes. It requires more labor force. Land for some purpose is inadequate. Of poor storage facilities, regulatory requirements is enormous. It requires huge amount of capital, honestly. Mechanized system of agriculture is expensive. If everybody has capacity to buy tractors, to buy, plow and the likes, they will be able to do more, to produce more. But where is the capital? You understand? It requires huge amount of capital. The next question, 72. Improving the working conditions of employees in an organization can solve the problem of what? Improving the working conditions of employees in an organization can solve the problem of what? A, climatic condition. B, inflation. C, insecurity. D, low productivity. E, unemployment. It is low productivity. Improving the working conditions of employees in an organization can solve the problem of someone who is working. You are working, you are gainfully employed somewhere, and they are paying you well. If they pay you well, then you will work more. Then the production will make more sense. You will do more. You understand? If yours, the money will trigger it will trigger your emotion, you'll be happy to work because you know that what you are doing, you are being compensated for it. So improving the working condition of employees. So if your working condition is improved, it give you official car, there is air conditioning in your office, there are different package they give to you. You understand? Allowance at the end of the month, no matter what, if your working condition is improved, automatically your productivity will make sense. So low, it is can solve the problem of low productivity. So in any organization, if there is low productivity, just work on the working condition of your employees. And I know that they will deliver. The productivity will be enhanced. The next question. Service industry has witnessed major growth in Nigeria because of the following. Except service industry has witnessed a major growth in Nigeria because of increase in population, except low capital funding, privatization policy, urban migration, technological advancement. Service industry has witnessed major growth in Nigeria because of the following. Privatization policy, rural urban migration, Technological advancement increase population, low capital funding. Except low capital funding. It will witness a major growth if there is a low capital funding. So this is the odd one out. When you are answering questions, look at the options very well. You discover that some will make sense, maybe positive, maybe one may be negative. So one that is negative, if they are asking for the exception or for the demerit or whatever, you will know that it's only that one. From this now, increase in population, is not a disadvantage. Privatization policy is not a disadvantage. Rural to urban migration, but you can say that low capital funding cannot cause this to happen. That's why the perfect answer to this is B, low capital funding. The next question, 74. Mortgage bank gives loans to individuals to mortgage. Anywhere you hear mortgage, it's building. Mortgage, they will give you money to build. In advanced countries, people get mortgage to build. Anywhere, mortgage banks, they are specifically created, established to give out loan or whatever to build. You understand? So mortgage bank gives loans to individuals to acquire capital, build houses, finance agriculture. The perfect answer is build houses. The next question. An increase in bank rates by the central bank leads to increase in bank rates by the central bank. One of the major tools that the central bank can use to withdraw money from circulation, we call it contractionary monetary policy. One of the major tools they use, they can just increase the bank rates. If they increase the bank rates, the lending will be difficult. People will find it easy to borrow because the rate of interest will shoot up. So if the interest shoot up, people will be discouraged from borrowing. So bank rates, an increase in bank rate by the central bank leads to what? It will discourage borrowing. Decrease in borrowing, decrease in lending rates, improvement in investment initiatives, increase in discount rate, increase in money supply. The perfect answer to this is decrease in borrowing. Because central bank, by the time they increase their bank rates by the central bank, it will be expensive to get money from them. And as a result of that, the rate of interest will be increased. And once the interest rate increased, borrowing will reduce. That's why the perfect answer to that is option A, decrease in borrowing. The next question, 76. Money is generally accepted as a medium of exchange because of what? Money is generally accepted as a medium of exchange because of what? Determines a person's wealth and social status? No. Functions solely as a store of value? No. Is used for personal budgeting and expenditure? Yeah, we know, but not that one alone. Is used for purchase of precious metals? Represent value for the purpose of buying and selling? Yeah, that is it. Money is generally accepted as a medium of exchange because it represents value for the purpose of buying and selling. Value. You want to buy anything, just give the person the cash. You get whatever you want. So it represents value for the purpose of buying and selling. The next question. The theory of demand for money was postulated by the theory of demand for money was postulated by the theory of demand for money was postulated by who? John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes. He is the one that postulated the theory of demand for money, John Maynard Keynes. The next question. The speculative motive for holding money portrays money as a speculative. I told you the three reasons why we hold money. Transactionary, precautionary, speculative. Transactionary, day-to-day expenses. You hold money for that. You want to buy anything, you quickly buy. Precautionary, unforeseen contingencies. Anything can happen anytime. So you have money for that. Kept, separately. Speculative, for investment purpose. Opportunity can come anytime, and because you have money somewhere, you can quickly leverage on it. That is investment, speculative motive. So the speculative motive for holding money portrays money as a measure of value, medium of exchange, standard for deferred payment, store of value, unit of account. It is store of value because when you buy money, when you buy investment, you invest with your money. What you are expecting in return should be what? It should be something more valuable. You understand? So, as a store of value, the speculative motive for holding money portrays money as a store of value. So, the next question, 79. Remember, hope you have subscribed to our channel at the Rock Tutors. Feel free to share to your friends, like it, and invite more people to our channel. Do me that favor. I believe you are learning something, and we continue to learn. That forthcoming exam, you are going to have A's. You are going to blast it. I trust God on your behalf. So, but do us that favor by sharing this video to as many people as possible that may need this video. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you. Then you too, make sure you subscribe. I believe you've subscribed already, because I know you are getting it. Now, the use of fiscal policy to control inflation. Use of fiscal policy. What is fiscal policy? Fiscal policy in terms of government tax, in terms of subsidies. You understand? It can be used to control, the circulation of money, in the flow of money in circulation. So, the use of fiscal policy to control inflation relates to encouragement of external borrowing, no. Increase in bank reserve, no. Issuance of treasury bills, no. Reduction in interest rates, no. Tax increment by government. The use of fiscal policy to control inflation rate. Tax increment by government. Government policy, they make use of tax. You understand? If they want to reduce the money circulation, they will increase the tax. If they want to pump money, increase the purchasing power in circulation, they reduce the tax. It is a tool they use. We call it fiscal policy. So the use of fiscal policy to control inflation relates to tax increment by government. So the perfect answer to this 79 is E. The next question. A channel of distribution illustrates the path through which a product moves from. A channel of distribution illustrates the path through which a product moves from who? From the producer or the manufacturer to the final consumer. Note that production is not complete until it gets to the final consumer. So from this option, consumers to the retailer, no. Consumer to the wholesaler, no. Manufacturer to the consumer, yes. Wholesaler to the producer, no. Wholesaler to the retailer, no. Manufacturer to the consumer. And remember, like I said before, production is not complete until it reaches the final consumer, from the manufacturer or producer to the final consumer. The next question, 81. The satisfaction derived by consuming an additional unit of a commodity is dash utility. The satisfaction derived by consuming an additional unit of a commodity is what? It is marginal utility. What is marginal utility? It is the extra satisfaction you derive from consuming additional units, from consuming one more unit. That's what is called marginal utility. Like the example that I gave in the Miami class, you are so thirsty, you feel like drinking 3 Cokes, 3 bottles of Coke. The first one will give you the most satisfaction, followed by the second one, followed by the third one. So at the end of the day, you realized that the one that gave you most satisfaction is the first. So extra satisfaction you are deriving from consuming one more unit, additional unit, is what is called marginal utility. The next question, 82. Which of the following is not an indicator of economically developed nation? Which one is not an indicator? High level of literacy is an indicator, because people will be learned. You understand? They can read and write. High level of literacy is part of it. High per capita income, it makes sense, it's positive. High proportion of unskilled labor, no. Low death rate, the perfect answer is C. High proportion of unskilled labor. Which of the following is not an indicator of economic development? So this is not an indicator. High proportion of unskilled labor is not an indicator. The next question. This table, when you look at it, they said in table 3.1, the equilibrium price is what? Equilibrium price is the price at which the quantity demand equals to the quantity supply. Equilibrium point is the point at which quantity demand equals to quantity supply. Equilibrium quantity is that quantity where the quantity supply equals to quantity demand. Now, from this table, equilibrium price is where this price, where the quantity demand equals to quantity supply. This is quantity demand, this is quantity supply. We can see that 11,000 is here, 11,000 is here. This is the only one that has 11,000, 11,000, 10,000, 13. No, where the price at which quantity demand equals to quantity supply is 6,000, where we have 11,000, 11,000. So that is why the equilibrium price from this table is 6,000 naira. So the equilibrium price is 6,000 naira. Hope it's clear. So the next question, 84. A budget in which government expenditure exceeds its revenue is what? Is deficit budget. Expenditure exceeds revenue. What you are spending is more than what you are receiving. That is deficit. So it's deficit budget. The next question. Which of the following is a disadvantage of direct tax? Direct tax. Which of the following is a disadvantage of direct tax? Certainty in the liability, cheap to collect, lessens burden of tax, reduces income inequality, reduces savings rate. This is it. Disadvantage of a direct tax. It reduces savings rate because you are supposed to save more. But when there is tax on your savings, and as a matter of fact, if it is much, it will affect your savings. You have 1 million naira, and after deducting tax, it is left with what? You are left with maybe 950,000. The 50,000 naira that has actually left it would have been added to the savings. But since it has been removed, what will you do? So, reduces savings rate. No matter what, it reduces the savings rate. So, that is a major disadvantage of, is actually a disadvantage of direct tax because it will definitely reduce your savings. If you are supposed to save certain amount, after they remove the tax, it will reduce the savings rate. The next question. If Mr. Akim earns 150,000 naira as monthly income and pays 5% as personal tax, calculate his disposable income. What is disposable income? The disposable income simply means your income that is left after tax. Your income that is left after tax. That means if you collect 1 million and they remove certain amount of tax, what is left will be your disposable income. You understand? So let's check. If Mr. Akim earns 150,000 as monthly income and pays 5% as personal tax, so we are going to calculate the personal, we are going to calculate 5% of 50,000. 150,000, 150,000, 5% of it, that's 7,500. That means the tax they will remove from that 150,000 is 7,500. So 150,000 minus 75, it will be remaining 142,500 naira. So 142,500 will be disposable income. The disposable income 142,500. So the perfect answer to that is D. I say it again. How did I calculate it? Your disposable income is what is left, what you have in your savings, or what is left after removing tax. And they are saying this person pays 5% as personal tax. Calculate it. So now they will remove 5% of 150,000. 5% of 150,000 is what I calculated that time, which is 75. 5% of 150,000 is what? Is 75. So 75, when we remove it from 150,000, that's how we got 142,500. So the perfect answer to this is option D, 142,4. The next question. 87. If the national income of a country is 50 million, national income of the country is 50 million, what is the per capita income of 100,000 inhabitants? Per capita income. How do you calculate per capita income? Just calculate it by placing national income over population. Then you get your per capita income. National income over population. That is how to calculate that. So the national income of the country is 50 million. 50 million. 50 million divided by per capita income of 100,000 inhabitants. Divided by 100,000. 50 million divided by 100,000. So The answer is 500. So the answer is what? 500 naira. So the per capita income of 100,000 inhabitants is 500 naira. So how did we calculate that? 50 million divided by 100,000, and it gives us. So how did we get the 500 naira? Like I told you, to calculate your per capita income, all you have to do is just to place national income over population in inhabitants. You understand? So national income of a country is 50 million. 50 million divided by 100,000 gave us 500 naira. So the perfect answer to this question 87 is A, 500 naira. The next question, 88. Which of the following is not a reason for external trade? Which of the following is not a reason for external trade? Creation of economic distortion, desire to improve standard of living is actually a reason for external trade, so that the standard of living can be improved. Difference in climatic condition, yeah, there are some things some countries may not be able to produce, other country can produce it. So it's one of the reasons why there is a external trade. Then difference in technological advancement, some countries are more advanced, so they have capacity to produce some stuffs that may be beneficial to some less developed country. Then uneven distribution of natural resources. Not everybody has the same natural resources. You understand? What is applicable in country A may not be applicable in country B. So if you look at this B to E, there are the reasons why we can engage in external trade. But creation of economic distortion is out of it. And I think that is the answer. A is the answer. Creation of economic distortion. So which of the following is not a reason for external trade? Option A, creation of economic distortion. The next question. One of the futures of underdeveloped economy, one of the futures of underdeveloped economy, dependency on agriculture is a major future. High level of literacy, high per capita income, large labor supply, well-developed infrastructural network. One of the features of underdeveloped is dependency on agriculture. The next question. 90. A small change in price that leads to a lesser change in quantity demanded. Small change in price. It leads to a lesser change in quantity demanded is what? That should be fairly inelastic demand. Fairly inelastic demand. A small change in price that leads to a lesser change in quantity demanded. It should be, I think it is a greater change, it should be elastic, fairly elastic. But they are saying here, lesser change in quantity demanded. That's why the fact that there is a change, but the impact is lesser. You understand? In the quantity demanded compared to what is changed in the price. Automatically, that is fairly inelastic demand. The perfect answer to this is B. The next question. One of the reasons government finds the privatization policy attractive is this. One of the reasons government finds the privatization policy attractive is A, checking exploitation of the masses, controlling capital flight, ensuring efficiency in resource management, ensuring equitable distribution of income, removing bureaucracy in government. One of the reasons government finds the privatization policy attractive is ensuring efficiency in resource management. Because, if you are private ownership, you want to guide your work very well so that you can maximize profits. Unlike the government parastatals where some people can just be doing anyhow because they know that it's not their money that has been used to make those things available, so they misbehave. But when it comes to privatization, the owner of the business will go all out, will ensure that things work out as they are supposed to work out. So there is efficiency in resource management. That's why I'm able to take this option, ensuring efficiency in resource management. The next question. The following are economic challenges that hinder the development of Nigeria economy, except the following are economic challenges that hinder the development of Nigeria economy, except A, bad governance, debt burden, import dependence, political stability, unstable electricity. If you look at these options, there's only one that is different. Bad governance is negative. Debt burden is negative. Import dependence is negative. Unstable electricity is negative. Political stability, when there is stability in politics, that is the positive part. So automatically, this is the odd one out. The perfect answer to this option is political stability. The following are economic challenges that hinder the development of Nigerian economy except political stability. 93. The next question. All right. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. Apart from that, I'll be so glad, I'll be happy if you share this channel to your friends. Let them learn that they can have 100 in the forthcoming exams. You understand? I'll be so glad. Share to your friends, like it, comment, and keep enjoying, keep watching, and you won't be tired of giving you quality stuffs that will make you excel in your forthcoming exams. So, economics is the study of human behavior as it relates to the what? Economics is the study of human behavior as it relates to what? Efficient allocation of resources, production of goods, operation of companies, it is efficient allocation of resources. The little resources you have, how will you manage it? Like I told you, the reason why we study economics is scarcity. Honestly, you want many things. Your wants are numerous, but the resources to satisfy them are limited. That is why we are studying economics. We study economics simply because of what? Because of scarcity. So, economics is the study of human behavior as it relates to the efficient allocation of resources. So, the resources you have, how can you allocate it such that you will be happy and still maximize whatever you have to achieve? The next question. The standard deviation of a set of data is what? The standard deviation of a set of data, standard deviation. We have mean deviation, we have standard deviation, we have variance. They are all part of a measure of dispersion. You understand? So always measure from the mode, the most representative of average, always measure from the median. A measure of dispersion is a measure, set of data is a measure of dispersion. So the standard deviation of a set of data is a measure of dispersion. The next question. The most popular sizes of dresses and shoes are determined by the what? The most popular sizes of dresses and shoes are determined by what? It is the range. Range. What size are you using? Is it size your shoe? Is it 12? Is it 42? It depends. You understand? Is it size 8? So, and these are being determined by what? By range. So, the most popular sizes of dresses and shoes are determined by the what? By range. You can't determine them by mean, mode, or median. You can determine them by range. The next question. 96. If the price of a commodity with elastic demand increases, the revenue accruing to the producer will what? If the price of a commodity with elastic demand increases, the revenue accruing to the producer will elastic demand. Inelastic demand. If something is elastic, by the time you increase the price, many people will not buy that product. They will go and buy another thing that has inelastic nature. Are you getting what I'm saying? Elastic. So you have to be very careful if the nature of that product you want to sell is elastic or inelastic. If it is elastic, you don't need to increase the price anyhow, or else people will run away. So from this question, if the price of the commodity with elastic demand increases, the revenue accruing to the producer will decrease. So because if you increase the price of a particular commodity that has elastic nature, people will not buy. So instead of your revenue to increase, it will decrease. That's why the answer to this is D. The next question, 97. One of the assumptions of ordinal utility, we have ordinal utility, we have cardinal utility. When we talk about ordinal utility has to do with the ranking. You understand? It has to do with the ranking. You understand? So choice is not consistent. One of the assumptions: A, choice is not consistent. B, utility can be ranked. Utility can be ranked. That's one of the features of ordinal utility. If it is cardinal utility, utility is measured, is measurable. If it is ordinal, it is ranked. You understand? So total utility is a function of price. Price satisfaction is measurable. Utility can be ranked. That is one of the assumptions of ordinal utility theory. 98. The law of diminishing marginal utility explains why Law of marginal diminishing, because as you consume more, marginal utility decreases. And like I described in the first part, that when the total utility is increasing as you are consuming more, marginal utility will keep decreasing until it gets to zero. And after getting to zero, it will start declining, it will enter negative. You understand? So the law of diminishing marginal utility explains why the slope of a normal demand curve is negative. An abnormal demand curve slopes downward, slopes upwards. The slope of a normal demand curve is positive. The consumption of inferior goods, we will know from this option that the slope of a normal demand curve is negative, is the perfect answer. Because that's true. If you look at the equation of demand, it's simply writes as, you can write it as QD equals to A minus BP. A minus BP. So the slope of demand is negative. That is why the relationship between the quantity demand and price is inversely related. It is negatively related. So the slope is negative. So the perfect answer to that, the slope of the normal demand curve is negative, is the perfect option. So the law of the diminishing marginal utility explains why the slope of a normal demand curve is negative. The next question. A set of factors that can shift the supply curve are changes in, we have a shift in supply. You know, the shift in supply is also the same as a change in supply. We have change in quantity supply. We also have change in supply. There are two different things, so don't mix it up. Change in supply, change in quantity supply. The change in supply is the same thing as shift in supply, which can be upward or downward. It can be upward or downward. Now, what are the causes of change in quantity supply? The change in quantity supply can only be affected by price. Anywhere you see quantity, what normally affects it is the price. Other factors except the price cause the supply curve to shift, either to the right or to the left. But price alone can cause the quantity supply to increase or decrease. Are you getting me? Now, looking at this, a set of factors that can shift the supply curve are changes in what? Any option you see price, it is zero. It cannot be the option. It cannot be the correct option. Anywhere you see price, because price cannot cause the supply to shift. It can only cause a movement on the supply curve, either to the right or to the left, but it cannot cause the supply curve to shift. Other factors apart from the price will make supply curve to shift. Please note this very well. Whether price and technology, because price is there, is out of it. D, technology, weather, and population, correct answer. C, technology, price, and taste, that cannot be the answer. Population, price, and taste, that cannot be the answer. But the one that does not have price is technology, weather, and population. That is the correct answer, because other factors apart from the price will cause the demand curve, will cause the supply curve to shift. The same thing is also applicable to demand. Other factors affecting demand will make demand curve to shift, either to the right or the left. But price alone can only cause a change in quantity supply. You understand? Or quantity demand. That is all about that. Then the next question, 100. The next question. If the coefficient of price elasticity of supply is greater than 1, the supply is said to be, I've told you, when you calculate your elasticity of supply or demand, if it is greater than 1, it is elastic. If it is less than 1, it is inelastic. If it is 1, it is unitary. So from this question, what do you think is the answer? If the coefficient of price elasticity of supply is greater than 1, the supply is said to be elastic. Fairly elastic. The option is D. Correct option is D, fairly elastic. The next question. If commodity X is A, is a byproduct of commodity Y, this implies that both commodities are what? They are jointly supplied. For example, if you buy computer, you know you have to install software. Computer, software. You cannot use a computer without installing some software. You understand? So they are jointly supplied commodity. They are jointly supplied commodity. So if commodity X is a byproduct of commodity Y, software is a byproduct of the computer system. This implies that both commodities are jointly supplied. They are jointly supplied. So that is that. The next question. Before solving these questions, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share these videos to your friends, as many as possible. Let it go viral so that they can also succeed in their forthcoming exams. And I trust God that you are coming back to give us testimonies on this platform. Your A, your 100 is not negotiable. All right, the next question. 102. In perfect competition, price is determined by the what? Perfect competition. Perfect competition. I told you that we have free entry and free exit under perfect competition. I told you that we have homogeneous commodity. And I told you that there is perfect knowledge. You know, under we have mobility. You understand? Of you have free entry, free exit under the perfect competition. The products that are being sold under perfect market, they are homogeneous. They are identical. If everybody is selling Omo, then you too, everybody will be selling Omo. There is no differentiated product in a perfect market. No differentiated product. So people do not have choice. Everybody is a price taker. Yeah, under perfect market, and that is why there is nothing you can do. The only thing that can determine the price is the market. So the market forces of the demand and supply. That is what will determine the market. You don't. Everybody has perfect knowledge, so you can't influence the price. Everybody is a price taker. So perfect market can determine the price. So in parallel competition, price is determined by the what? By the market. The perfect answer to that is D. The next question. A firm enjoying economies of scale is said to be, I told you economies of scale simply means the benefits, you know, that you derive, especially from a large scale production. Benefits you derive, internal benefits. You know, by the time you produce in mass, you produce in bulk, you produce, the average cost will be reduced. So at the end of the day, when you are selling, you have a reduced price and more people will buy, then you make more money. So most times, average costs get reduced. When we are talking about economies of scale, the average cost is being reduced. So a firm enjoying economies of scale is said to be reducing average cost as production increases. Benefiting from the perfect answer is A, reducing average cost as production increases. Benefiting from the maximizing profit as having and reducing average cost as production increases, because when you produce a mass, you understand, the average cost will be reduced, and it's one of the advantage of economies of scale, especially the internal economies of scale. The next question. One of the characteristics of monopolistic competition is that one of the advantages of monopolistic competition, we talked about perfect competition the other time, that they have homogeneous products. Under monopolistic competition, there are differentiated products. There are what? There are differentiated products. In Nigeria, for example, we have MTN, we have Glo, we have different communication network. So everybody there can be differentiated products. It can be due to branding, maybe the way you brand your products, maybe the way you package your own. It can be different. That is under monopolistic competition. So one of the characteristics of monopolistic competition is that, what is one of the characteristics? There's mobility of factors of production. Mobility of factors of production. Mobility of factors of production. B, no single seller dominates the market. C, the firms are price takers. D, consumers have perfect knowledge of price. It cannot be consumers have perfect knowledge of the price. This future is under the perfect market. The firms are price takers under the private market. No single seller dominates the market. No single seller dominates. Everybody is buying stuff. Everybody is taking from the larger share. That is under the characteristics of the monopolistic competition. So no single seller dominates the market under the monopolistic competition. You understand? So that is the single seller dominates the market is the perfect answer to that. What is the major characteristics of monopolistic competition? Then the next one, 105. A decrease in aggregate spending in an economy will ultimately lead to what? A decrease in aggregate spending. Decrease in aggregate spending will ultimately lead to what? A decrease in aggregate spending. It cannot lead to boom because the purchasing power has reduced. It cannot lead to inflation because the purchasing power has reduced. It is when there is much money chasing goods and services, that is when there can be inflation. You understand? So this is not deflation. It will lead to deflation because the money has reduced practically. But ultimately, it will end in recession. So, and a decrease in aggregate spending in an economy will ultimately lead to what? To lead to recession because the deflation will make everything boils down to recession. The next question. The function of money which makes the division of labor possible is it. The function of money which makes division of labor possible is it what? Unit of account, store of value, medium of exchange, kind of different payment. It is medium of exchange. It is medium of exchange because whatever you offer me a value, then I give you something in return. Medium of exchange. It wouldn't have been possible. Imagine if there's no money, and everything that was happening. In the olden days, before the advent of money, it was by barter system. So some things may not be. It was because of the different disadvantages, they were witnessing in those periods. That's why money came. You understand? That's why the money was created. So medium of exchange will make it possible. The function of money which makes division of labor possible is its medium of exchange. The next question. By buying treasury bill, the Central Bank of Nigeria intends to. Central Bank can decide to reduce money in circulation, and they can also decide to increase money in circulation. By doing what? By buying securities, by selling securities. And one of the securities that can be sold is treasury bill. And one of the securities that can also be bought is treasury bills. So, by buying treasury bill, that means the central bank wants to reduce the money from circulation by buying treasury bill. When they are buying, automatically, when they buy, they pump money by buying treasury bill. If they buy treasury bill, that means they are pumping money into economy. That is what is called expansionary monetary policy. Expansionary monetary policy. They buy. So, as a result of buying, no matter what they are paying, they are pumping money into the society. So, when they pump money into the society, what happens? They increase money supply in the economy. That's the answer. Reduce the cash reserve ratio for banks, reduce supply in the economy, increase the capital base of commercial bank, increase money supply in the economy. So, it will increase the money supply. If they buy treasury bill, automatically they will pump money into the circulation. And when they pump money into circulation, there will be increase in money supply. And that is option A. Increase money supply in the economy. The next question. One of the functions of commercial banks, for commercial banks majorly, honestly, is we save at commercial banks and we can borrow money from commercial banks. As a matter of fact, commercial banks generate more money. They make money from borrowing, from lending money to customers. That's how they create money. That's how creation of money happens, by lending money out. As a matter of fact, when people buy, by the time they are returning with interest, they are creating money. That is how commercial banks create money, through borrowing. So it's one of their functions. You understand? One of the functions of commercial banks is maintaining stable price in the economy, regulating monetary policies, granting loans to customers, issuing bank notes and coins, granting loans to customers, because that's how they create money. They grant loans to customers. These commercial banks that we go to, and if you operate a current account and you have a good credit rating, then you can be given money. You understand? So that is it. 109. The ultimate aim of agricultural policies in Nigeria is to achieve. Ultimate aim of agricultural policies in Nigeria is to achieve what? Food sufficiency. It's food sufficiency. Agricultural policies in Nigeria is to achieve food sufficiency, so that everybody, when you are not hungry, you're able to do what you are supposed to do. You understand? If you are hungry, you can't even think right. You can't think well. So the ultimate aim of agricultural policies in Nigeria is to achieve food sufficiency. The Yoruba people will say, "Bí ṣe bá ti tán, àbùṣe bùṣe." Baby back to kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́ àbùṣebùṣe, that is the Yoruba, you understand. So is to increase food sufficiency. Then the last question for now, question 110. Government can boost agricultural output in Nigeria primarily by what? It can boost agricultural product output in Nigeria primarily by what? A. Embarking on buffer stock programs. B. Placing embargo on food importation. C. Granting subsidies of farm inputs. D. Placing farmers on monthly income. Government can boost agricultural product by doing what? Placing embargo on food, granting subsidies of farm inputs. Like I told you, they can boost agricultural products by what? By granting subsidies. What is the subsidies? It can be in form of fertilizers. It can be in form of seed. It can be in form of machinery. They can support these farmers so that at the end of the day, it's going to boost agricultural output. Thank you so much for following us on this channel. I strongly believe you've learned one or two things. When we have access to more questions that will be relevant for those forthcoming exams, we are ready to load it. We are ready to teach you guys, and we trust God that you are coming back here to testify. We wish you a good success in your forthcoming exams, and like I told you, don't forget to share this video to as many friends as possible. You understand? Comment, like, share, and let many people see the good things we are doing. Once again, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye-bye.